Hello, my name is Haley Jacobs. I am an intern and grad student here at Benedictine University, and today I'm going to be talking to you about whey protein supplementation. So, what is whey protein? Well, it is an easily digestible, complete, high quality protein containing all of the essential amino acids. Typically, it is consumed by athletes as a post workout supplement. However, individuals looking to increase their protein intake often take this supplement as well. So, several studies have been conducted to know just how exactly protein works within our bodies. Some of the most talked about effects protein has on athletes is its ability to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, improve strength, repair and remodel muscle fibers, and regulate anabolic hormones. So, according to a researcher named Roy, the combination of resistance training with an increased intake of protein may result in a positive nitrogen balance and increased protein synthesis, which may have an important implication for improvements in both size and strength of the muscle. It is also noted that protein intake has been suggested to have an important role in regulating the anabolic hormones that are involved with muscle remodeling. So, is this a safe supplement to take? So, generally, yes, the whey protein supplement is a safe and effective way of increasing your protein intake. However, for individuals allergic to dairy, they may want to stay clear of whey protein since it is a dairy based supplement. So, consuming the dairy based protein, it may cause gastrointestinal discomfort in those who are allergic to dairy. So, it may be best for that group of individuals to stay clear. It is also important for those who have allergies to look at the ingredient list of each of these proteins to look for any further ingredients that they may have an allergic reaction to. Now, one of the concerns that the consumers of protein supplements have is knowing whether or not their protein supplement is pure. So, with the protein supplementation, the FDA leaves it up to the manufacturers to evaluate the safety and labeling of the products. So, there's not a definitive way to know if a protein powder contains what the manufacturers are claiming. However, as a consumer, you can reach out to the NCAA website and find brands that have been approved for athletes. So, brands such as Cellucor, Dymatize, and Cage are all included on the list of approved substances. So, for further information, though, on the purity of supplements, websites like IHSA and WADA have a list of banned ingredients to look for on a label to assure the purity of the supplement is being met. So, now that we have an idea of what whey protein is and how it works in the body, I wanted to go into what the researcher is finding regarding the claims of the benefits from this supplement. So, current research on protein has been looking into protein's effect on recovery, its impact of strength and body composition, whole body net protein balance, and its effect on the gut microbiota. So, on this slide, as well as the next, I have included a graph showing the subjective data on 8 studies looking into the effects that we have just discussed. Now, all 8 studies utilized males as their subjects, all of which had been participating in some type of recreational exercise. The target audience for all of these studies are recreational level athletes. So, included in this graph are the forms of supplement, which generally include whey protein powder being mixed with water or some prescribed liquids specific to that study. Now, what is also included in the graph is the timing of the supplementation, where it lists the exact time at which the subjects were to take their whey protein drink. Studies conducted by McNaughton and West instructed their subjects to consume the drink immediately post-exercise, while Hoffman and Cribb had their subjects divide their consumption into equal parts and consume that drink throughout the day. In a few slides, we will talk about the effectiveness of this supplementation and what the researchers discovered from these studies. So, in the second half of the graph, it includes all of the same information that was on the previous slide. However, this is just a new group of studies. Again, all subjects were male. All but one study used whey protein powder as their supplement. So researcher El-Shabaki wanted to see how effective a whey protein bar versus whey protein would be as a post-workout snack. So similar to the previous slide, Montine and El-Shabaki prescribed their supplements to be consumed post-workout, while McAdam also had his subjects consume a drink post-workout. He also had their subjects drink a drink right before bed, and Morano Perez had his subjects consume the drink post-workout as well as the drink even on the days that they were having a rest day. Now, these next couple of slides are going to include the results of the studies that were just mentioned. So, like I stated before, the overall goal of these studies was to determine the effect protein supplementation had on different aspects of an athlete's performance. So, I just wanted to briefly go over the objectives of each study before jumping into the results. So, researcher McNaughton and his team wanted to look into the response of muscle protein synthesis to 2 different doses of proteins following a bout of whole body resistance exercise in resistance trained males with a large amount of lean body mass compared to those with a smaller amount of lean body mass. Now, Hoffman and his team wanted to look into the effect of protein supplementation on strength, power, body composition, and resting endocrine concentrations during a 12-week resistance training program in competitive strength power athletes. Cribb and his team wanted to look into the effects that combining creatine with carbohydrate and with whey protein during resistance exercise training had on their athletes when compared to just whey protein and carbohydrates alone on strength, body composition, and fiber-specific hypertrophy, as well as muscle creatine and contractile protein content. Now, lastly, West and his team wanted to determine if whey protein supplement consumption enhances whole body net protein balance and recovery of exercise performance during an overnight, 10-hour, and 24-hour recovery whole body resistance exercise in trained men. So each of these 4 studies found that protein supplementation was effective in their research. It was found that protein supplementation stimulated muscle protein synthesis to a greater extreme when a higher dosage of protein was used. Protein supplementation augmented lower body strength development as well as promoted greater strength gains and muscle morphology during resistance exercise training. And finally, it was found that consumption of whey protein after an evening bout of resistance exercise improved whole body net protein balance over 10 hours of overnight recovery, and consuming an additional 25 grams of whey protein in the morning after exercise contributed to the maintenance of a greater whole body protein balance over 24-hour recovery period. So the information on the graphs go into more detail. However, in layman's terms, each of these studies found that protein supplementation was effective in their study's objectives. So again, these are the last 4 studies that I'm going to cover. They were mentioned previously when we talked about their subjective data. And again, just to give you an overview of the objective of each of these researchers, McAdam and his team wanted to examine the effects of whey protein supplementation in comparison to a carbohydrate placebo on physical performance and body composition during Army initial entry training. Montine and his team wanted to look into what effect consuming protein post-exercise would have on athletes' appetite post-recovery meal. El-Shabaki and his team wanted to investigate whey protein bars' effect on the body measurements and some biochemical parameters of their athletic subjects. Where finally, Morano Perez and his team wanted to look into the changes produced by a high-quality hydrolyzed beef and whey protein supplement on gut microbiota, fecal pH, and metabolites derived by protein consumption such as short-chain fatty acids and ammonia. So, similar to the last slide, McAdam and El-Shabaki found that whey protein supplementation was effective in their research. They were able to conclude that whey protein supplementation resulted in improved push-up performance and reduced fat mass, as well as improved athletes' post-exercise body composition and other anthropometric data. So for Montine, depending how you look at his study, you can technically say it was effective. Now, again, Montaigne wanted to see if the whey protein supplementation post-workout would reduce an athlete's energy intake post-workout, which is exactly what they found. Montaigne and his team were able to discover that athletes who consumed a protein supplement post-workout also experienced a decrease in their energy consumption due to the high satiation rate of protein. Now, what is different in the study conducted by Morano-Perez is that they did not find protein supplementation to be effective in their research. So again, Morano-Perez wanted to see protein consumption's effect on the gut microbiota. Since we have such a big understanding of what protein does to the body on a larger scale, Morano-Perez wanted to see what it is doing to our bodies microscopically. And he found that consumption of 10 grams of whey isolate and 10 grams of beef hydrolysate in athletes decreased the health-promoting gut bacteria in the microbiome without affecting the short fatty acids, ammonia, or fecal pH. So while protein may stimulate positive results with recovery time and muscle hypertrophy, it may not have a great effect on the gut microbiome. However, since this study was one of the first of its kind, more researchers is going to need to be conducted to back up the claims being made by this study. So what does a supplement or a whey protein supplement cost? So generally speaking, protein containers can cost anywhere between $25 to $50 depending on the brand and container size. So since we know that Cellucor is an NCAA approved brand, I will use this brand of protein as an example. So Cellucor whey protein powder costs $29.99 for 28 servings. Now, one serving of this powder is 2 scoops or 33 grams, which provides 24 grams of protein. Now, generally, if users of this protein consumed 1 serving per day, they would have enough protein to last them 28 days. Now, looking back at the studies that we just talked about, 24 grams of protein per day was standard throughout many of the studies. However, in studies such as McNaughton's, one group of participants was required to consume 40 grams of protein, which would mean participants in this study would have to consume 2 servings of the protein had that study used the Cellucor brand. Now, doubling the serving per day would also mean the participants would go through the container in about 14 days rather than the standard 28 servings if they were to consume 1 serving per day. So by increasing the serving of protein, the participants are going to use 2 or more containers for the duration of the study, totaling over $60 per participant. Again, this is if they were to use the Cellucor whey protein powder. So for those looking to increase their protein intake within the serving size provided in the container, the cost of the container can be reasonable. However, for those looking to increase their protein intake by a high amount, an amount over the serving size provided in the container, it may become expensive, and supplementing with whole foods rather than a whey protein powder may become more cost effective. So overall, whey protein supplementation is a quick and easy snack post-workout for athletes looking to increase their protein intake. We were able to see that the use of whey protein as a supplement post-exercise shows to have a beneficial effect on muscle hypertrophy, performance, repair, and recovery in recreational type athletes. However, it is important to know the effect that it is having on the gut microbiota, since the gut plays such an important role in humans' overall health. So more research is needed in that aspect just to know exactly what is going on in the gut itself. So I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation. I hope you were able to take away something new from this. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.